Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dr. Sherry Rochelle. I am a doctorally certified educator with many, many years of experience in both education and business. As you know from your experience in my course, How to Create a Budget for Beginners, we have a strong start on creating that budget, and we've really worked hard these last couple of days to understand what is a budget and what's the difference between planning and actual. And you worked hard over the last month to track those expenses and those revenues so that you can go ahead today and put them into your Excel document. So the first thing you need to do, as you can see, I've already done it, is open up a blank Excel document. And once you get that open, then we are going to go ahead and start putting in our column labels. And you can start wherever you want. Most commonly, we start with A1 just because it's the most natural flow from left to right with reading. And you can format this however you want because this truly is yours and you need to own that. So first off, we've got our categories. We've got our planned and we've got our actual. You can add more words to those as you feel necessary. Planned expense or planned amounts, actual amounts. I will leave it to just planned and actual for now. We can update as we need. Another feature, bold and underline, just to make it a little bit more eye-popping. And then we're ready to start. First thing we talk about when we talk about a budget is our revenues or our income sources. So I am going to go ahead and add in the word income right underneath categories so that it sticks in my brain of what this is. I'm going to Control I and italicize it, and then possibly even highlight it in a soft shade just so I can see this difference. Mine might look different. Of course, that's based on preference. Now, as you go through and you've gone this whole month of tracking all of your income and all of your expenses, you know what you have coming in for money. So we'll say income source one, you're going to put in your job or your loan or whatever you might have that is bringing in money for you. So go ahead, put those in as many as you see fit. I'll go ahead and do 3 just so we have more than one, but not too many. And once we get those in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our total income column. It's important to do a total income so you can see exactly how much to expect coming in every month. Now, I'm talking about this on a monthly basis. Can you do a budget on a yearly basis? Absolutely. Should you do a budget on a yearly basis? Absolutely. And then go ahead and break that down into monthly circumstances. You know, some of us budget in that tax return in April or February or whenever you receive it. So those are the little things that having a yearly versus monthly is really helpful for. Maybe you've got some rental income that comes in at one point and not another. So being able to budget that I can pay a bill in this month, but I'll have a little less that month. That's why we do both the yearly and all 12 monthly. So we can see it, we can plan for it, and we can be aware and really set ourselves up for financial success. Once you get your labels in for income, you can go ahead and put your labels in for expenses. I'm going to go ahead and continue with that, merging and centering, highlighting, Control I, so that my eye is drawn to know that, yep, this is different than above. Now, expenses that you should include are anything that will or could come out of your money, whether that's a savings account, whether that's a checking account, whether it's your cash balance. Anything and everything should be taken into consideration so that you know. We will not go into as much detail with this budget as you possibly could. I am not going to add in my financial accounts like my savings account or my retirement account. However, if you have those expenses, like I'm making a contribution to a retirement account, that is something that should be listed as an expense, just so that it is accounted for somewhere. Biggest expense is housing, whether that's a mortgage or rent, whatever that looks like. Most people spend the largest amount of their budget on housing. When we talk about budgets and housing, the recommended value is no more than 33, or a third of your budget should go to your housing. So if you pay a little bit more than that, keep that in mind, that you're going to have to make the difference up somewhere else in your budget, in your expenses. Insurance expense, you have renters or property, depending on what you own or buy. You've got car, you've got health, maybe you have life insurance. Whatever those insurances look like. Now, here's another opportunity to format this a little differently. I like to write justify anything that might be a sub value. So these four are sub values of insurance, which is why I write justify. There will not be values under plan and actual for insurance because they're listed out into those subcategories. Now, continuing on, there's all the expenses you could possibly think of. You've got your telephone, you've got your internet, you've got grocery, you've got eating out, household supplies. Really, there's just a ton of expenses that can be listed here. If you go into my store, I have a resource that shows all of the possible, for the most part, expenses that you can get. Car payment. It's a pretty thorough, exhausted list. So go ahead. That's a free resource. Check that out. If you aren't into this and you really don't care about making your own and you just want somebody to do it for you, I do also have a Excel document available for download in my store. It's a little bit more advanced. I've got a few graphs. I've got a few additional analysis pieces in it that we won't do today. This is going to be very basic, but that one does have that additional information. So if you're looking for something you can just plug numbers into, that will do it for you. And you can go ahead and purchase that out there on my website at educationthatmatters.net. Now, again, this is not an exhaustive list. I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, what about this and what about that? Again, my budget looks different than your budget. I would have additional expenses in there for my business. I would have additional expenses in there for my kids, doctor's appointments. There's all these other things. Everybody's looks different, which is why it's important to take the time to make your own and understand your financial position. But we're going to stop there with the expenses just because I don't want this to go on too long. You're here to learn how to create it, not to think about all the possible things that can go into it. So once you get your total expense in, I'm going to do the same thing I did above. I bold it, I underline it, I make it so that my eye can draw to it. Now, looking back, you set out a planned amount for your income, you set out a planned amount for your expenses, and then you also have your actuals. One column we did not label is column D. In column D, we want to know the difference. Was I ahead on revenue? Was I ahead on expenses? Did I spend more than I thought I would? Did I spend less than I thought I would? Did I make more? Etc. You get the point. So we're going to go ahead and fill that in here in just 1 minute. Do some quick formatting, making sure those merges are all the way I want them. All the way across, clean, concise. And then we'll go ahead and put in. My values are made up. They're just random numbers to get us a figure in there. You can go ahead and put in your values that you planned for the month. And again, we're looking at this monthly, not yearly at this point. Easy enough to make a yearly. That is done for you if you go out and purchase that Excel spreadsheet. Now, we've got our planned amounts in. You can put in your actuals. While I do that, you do yours, and then we will meet again shortly to put in the last of the formulas. One thing to make note of as you're putting in your values is when you look at your expenses, you have to really take into consideration there's the fixed expense and there's the variable expense. Fixed expenses are your housing, your insurance, those things that don't fluctuate from year month to month. And then there's the variable. So how much it costs you to eat out, how many groceries you buy, all of those things that will fluctuate or change, we consider a variable expense. So those are numbers we expect to see different. Insurance, housing, those are fixed costs. We don't expect those to change unless we're making an additional payment towards them. Say I had some extra income come in and I'm going to put that towards my interest or on my mortgage to buy down that. So that's one place that I expect I could see a change in fixed expense, but for the most part, those should be steady month to month. Okay, now we've got all of our values in and it looks like something, but we want it to be something of meaning. So we're going to go ahead and put in some formulas. So the first formula you're going to put in is the totaling. Total income, total expense. To total up your income, we push the equals button and then we type in sum. Now you're going to highlight or click and drag the cells that have income values. We just want each column one at a time. So don't overlap into actual. Just do the plan column to start. Close your parentheses, hit enter. Now you've got your value. The best part about Excel is I can grab this little corner. You'll notice my box changes from the wide white plus sign to a black solid plus sign. That gives me the option to drag the formula over. So now I have two different formulas. They're the same, they do the same calculations, but they're in relation to two different columns, which makes our life a lot easier. Now, again, we're going to do the same thing for total expense. Equals and sum, and we are going to select all of them. You can click and drag, you can shift an arrow up, whatever you want to do. Close that parentheses, hit enter. And now we're going to have the same click and drag over. So as you can see, we planned for $3,850. We had an actual or a plan of $3,600 for expenses. So what is the difference? That's what we want to know. How much can I put into my savings? How much am I going to be short for the month, depending on your personal situation? So we're going to call it the difference. To find the difference, we're going to do a formula again, but this time it's not a click and drag, it's an equals. And then we're going to select up here under B our total income, and we're going to subtract our total expense to see that, yep, indeed, this hypothetical situation has a positive difference, meaning I've got money to put into my savings account, or I've got money to put onto an additional loan, or whatever that might be. Now, I am not one to enter formulas more than I have to because I'm lazy. I'm a mathematician. That's what we do. I'm clicking and I'm dragging to drag that formula over. You can see then the difference between my planned and my actual. I am now short $290. Where does that difference come in? Well, that's what we are going to use the difference formula for. And to find the difference, it's important to look at the actual minus the planned. So actual minus planned will tell me I went over in my income or in my expenses, or I was under in my income. We want to see that. We want to know. We want to understand. So equals, we'll take that C3 minus the B3 to get our actual minus our expenses, and then we'll just go ahead and click and drag. And the nice thing about this formula is it's one that is consistent all the way down. So you only have to enter it in a couple times due to that, excuse me, due to that merging and formatting issue. Another reason that you might want to wait to do your merging and formatting until the end. Save yourself a little bit of headache. So, as you can see, we are $540 short on the year. The difference between what we planned and what actually happened was $540. In expenses, we were $10 short of what we planned for. In revenue, we were $550 short of what we planned for. So that's an important thing to look at. Where do I come up with that difference? So down here in this difference line, it's a lot different. It's a bigger number, right? It says that we're $540 short, but you also have to remember that in our planned column, we were expecting to have some to go into savings. So when we look at our total expenses, this yellow box, we see that we really are only about $10 short. So I can maybe wiggle a little bit, or maybe I pulled $10 out of savings to cover that additional cost. Okay. One final format that I haven't done that I, as a accountant person and a math person, like to always do is I like to highlight these cells, and then I go up here and I label this as an accounting number, because it puts in those dollar signs, it puts in my decimals. My numbers are perfect, but we know in real life that that's not the case. In real life, we have dollars and cents. So going ahead and changing it into accounting numbers gives you that perfect look. Everything lines up. Everything has a dollar value, dollar sign, perfect label, and we're good to go. So that is how to create a budget in Excel. We're going to do it next time in a Google Sheets. Make sure to save it however you feel necessary. I always put a date on it, save it where I'm going to remember it. That's all there is to it. Remember, if you want it a little bit more advanced, or you don't want to take the time to do this yourself, you can go ahead and purchase it out on my store.